podcast. I am the Ruin, and we are now at episode 11. Back on episode 3, I had a poll, well, the second poll I had, of what you all would want to hear on my podcast. And at 100%, the votes coming in at 100%, and there were two of them this time, it was whatever comes to mind at the time of recording. So this might be a bumpy ride, and that's what we're going to do. So with nothing in mind right now, just grab yourself a cup of coffee, grab up a comfy chair, and let's chat. I did actually try to do one yesterday like this, and I rambled on for what turned out to be 55 minutes. And I was hesitant to upload it, and I decided I wouldn't because there was a lot going on there. So I have placed a timer on my phone, which I'm watching. So that'll give me a cutoff point. And I might start doing that with all my podcasts, just kind of give myself a timer. Is that what all podcasters do? Is that how they keep it the right time? Does anybody know that? Let me know. But I'm new at all this, and so I'm just trying to figure it out as I go. But so let's all take a sip of coffee and figure out what we're going to chat about. I know that there's a big ice storm going on in certain parts of the country. So if you guys are a part of that, please be careful out there on the ice. I know probably about 4 days ago, I myself slipped on some icy steps and bruised my tailbone really bad, bruised my right arm really bad. I bruised my side, and I whacked my head a little bit. Never wear your slippers, particularly ones that have no tread, outside while you're trying to let in a dog. That would be the second time I fell off the porch. The second time in a few years I fell off the porch because of me having slippers on and because of a dog. Well, the first time, to be fair, my dog pulled me off the top step, and I didn't have any tread or anything to, kind of grab to stop myself. And next thing I know, I was flying through the air. I was on the ground and with a severely bruised or strained ankle. This time I just bruised my tailbone. No, well, not just. If anybody's ever done that hurts. I'm not still positive I haven't fractured it yet, so we'll see. But so be careful out there in the weather, everyone. I am not sure what topic to start on or what to talk about. I mean, I have ideas for podcasts, but I don't think I really want to use them right now because I want it to be more focused. How about we just get totally off the subject of ADHD again? Do any of you guys have pets out there? Well, actually, we might kind of connect it into ADHD. Do you guys have pets out there, and does it help you in your life? Actually, this could be for anybody. How do your pets provide comfort for you or help you through your day-to-day life, your daily life? I myself have too many pets. I'll admit that. I have 2 cats. Both of them are about 11 years old. They're brothers. They were rescued from a local shelter. A young girl had found them motherless. Their mother had gotten killed, and they were underneath a boat in another state. And she lived in our state, and she was on vacation, and she found them, and she brought them back to our local area and gave them to the shelter here. And they all the babies ended up finding homes, thankfully, and we took 2 of them. And so they're about 11 years old or more. Actually, no, probably about 13, 14 now that I think about it. They're up there. And then I have a Siberian Husky that we took in. A friend of ours had a daughter who had rescued the puppy, the husky, when she was living in another place, and she rescued that puppy from another girl who wasn't taking care of her. The girl kind of was living on the streets and was into drugs, and um, she wasn't a bad person or anything like that at all. It's just she honestly could not take care of the dog, and she knew it. So our friend's daughter got her, and she had this husky. It's we named her Molly. That wasn't her original name, but Molly. And she had Molly for a little while, but Molly turns out to be a runner. And she lived in, our friend's daughter lived in an apartment and in town. And her being a runner, there was just no way. I mean, she couldn't keep her. So her father asked us if we would take her because we already had a couple of dogs and wondered if we would take her. And of course we did. Of course we did. And she's still a runner, not as bad as she was. She's been with us for almost 3 years now, so she's getting a lot better. She does have to be on a lead if she's outside. She does have to have some sort of lead or leash or something. You know, we have a really long one that she can go out and she can run around at least a little bit. But I mean, it's super long, but it's. I don't think it's good enough. She needs to actually be able to run free. But if we do, she's gone. But she's gotten better. She doesn't go far now, and she comes back a lot sooner than she did before. She'd be gone for hours before. But so she's a good dog, a little goofy, but she's a good dog. And then we have so she's about 3.5, 4 years old. And then we have a Alaskan Malamute, purebred, and she's 9, and she's, you know, like the princess of the house. She rules the roost with all the other dogs, and she's a good dog. We call her the cat dog because she acts like a cat. She's very aloof. You know, if she doesn't want to be petted, she just stays away from everybody. She's very aloof. But if she wants to be petted, she'll make sure that she she used to lay, you know how like cats will lay on the top of the back of the couches, you know, sometimes? Oh, she used to do that. And her biggest thing is just laying around being a cat dog. And then there's my dog. She's a mix, Australian Shepherd and American Staffordshire Terrier mix. And basically that translates to like a part pity mix. The Staffy and her is considered, you know, in the pit bull range. And I have people who are afraid of her, but she's not. She's a sweetheart. I originally did not want a pit bull. I was totally like when I was looking for a puppy because my dog had passed away. She was very, very old and she had cancer. And I was looking for one, and everyone had pit bulls. The shelters had pit bulls. Everyone who was giving away dogs had pit bulls. Everyone who was selling dogs had pit bulls. Nope, I didn't want one. And my stepdaughters were convincing me, no, you know, they're good dogs. Don't listen to all the hype. They are good dogs. And what I really wanted, I had my heart set on an Australian Shepherd. I had my heart set on an Australian Shepherd. And the only dog I could find was a mix, Australian Shepherd and Staffordshire Terrier. And I was kind of leery at first, but I was looking over the pictures of the puppies that this lady had, and I was like, oh, they're adorable. And I said, you know, I'm going to give it a try. My stepdaughters swear by these dogs. They're good, true, loyal. They're, you know, and I was like, okay. And we drove for 3 hours to go pick her up, and we paid the people extra money to drive extra to bring her to us, so we could just meet halfway. And the lady who gave her to me is very sweet, and I have sent her pictures over the years of Mabel. That's my dog Mabel. So we got her, and I just fell in love with her. And she does bark. She is loud, but she's very loving and very comforting dog. If you're upset or crying or something, she will nuzzle you. She will lay on you. Like when I was going through that really bad time that I went through, I had her with me at my apartment, and I would sit on the floor with my legs out, and I would just start crying, and she would just go and just lay across the full length of her body up and down my legs until I would calm down. Um, she's just soothing that way. She knows instantly when someone's not feeling good or someone's upset. And but her little quirk is, and if anybody's ever had a Siberian Husky or a Malamute, Alaskan Malamute, you know that they howl. They are very vocal animals. Mabel is an Aussie Shepherd mix, and while they may bark a little bit, like Staffies are known for being quiet. They do make little grunty kind of noises, little funny noises. Aussies, I believe, bark. So Mabel is like, it's got the little mixture of it. And when company comes, they're always looking out the bedroom windows. Like they patrol the house, and that's where they look at is the windows. They take up post when they know, like, people come and visit us at certain times every day. Like my father-in-law comes at a certain time every day. My husband comes home at a certain time every day. They know, and they are there, and they are waiting, usually half an hour to an hour before that time, but they will sit and they will wait and they'll watch out the window. And when Mabel sees their vehicles from way down the road, she will start barking, and she will keep going until the other two start. And then the other two start howling. And then, first time I heard Mabel do this was hilarious, because Aussies and Staffies don't howl. But yet, this little pup, when she was trying to learn from the big dogs, she would start to, it'd be just very short, but you could tell she was trying her best. And you could see the little look on her face, like, I'm one of the big dogs. I'm trying my hardest. And over the years, she's gotten better to where her howl lasts not as long as theirs does. And it's not as, it doesn't sound like theirs. I think it sounds like exactly what it should sound like if an Aussie and a Staffy would howl. And it's funny to watch, because she will not only do this when she sees people, she will do this if she is bored. She will get the other two riled up just to get them to howl, just so she can howl with them. And sometimes it can be immensely annoying, really annoying. But it's kind of cute. Like, and each dog has their different, unique howl. Like Athena, she will take over. She's like the top dog in the howling, and it lasts until she stops. Well, let me explain it this way. The other two will stop howling, but she has to have that last howl in, and it always goes off on a certain tone. It's like a final tone that she always has, and then it's cut off, and it's complete silence, and none of the other dogs are howling. She's not howling anymore. It's done. Like when Athena says it's done, it's done. Like they may quit for a second, but then she has that last little whatever she does, and then everyone's silent after that, and they all just go off and do whatever they want to do. I was against getting, like, Athena was, and she's the Malamute. When we first got her, I did not want her, because I was afraid that she would attack our cats. I was really afraid that she would, like the hunter prey thing, like if the cats ran, that she'd like instantly, go running after them and hurt them. And she never did. She never has. To this day, she's never like ran after them just because they were running. A matter of a fact, Athena was terrified of Pooh Bear, our black cat. And when he was a kitten, she was terrified of him. And Pooh Bear knew it, and Pooh Bear would terrorize Athena on purpose to scare her out of the room or to whatever. And he has used that to his advantage, because whenever there's like an issue between the two dogs, and he can hear it, we call him the sheriff of the house because he will walk boldly into the room and he will like come between the two and he'll growl or whatever he'll do. And I remember one time when he was still a baby and Athena had kind of snapped at my other dog was still alive at the time, Missy, kind of snapped at Missy, and Pooh Bear came in and stood between him and Missy, or her and Missy, and Missy left the room, and Pooh Bear would not allow Athena to follow Missy. And this was this little tiny cat, and this big husky or Malamute would not let him leave or her leave. Sorry. Anyways, and it was just funny to see. And yeah, or also if one of the dogs get hurt, like if I've actually stepped on their foot or something and they yipe, Pooh Bear will come in like he's Mr. Sheriff dude to make sure everybody's all right, and he'll come in and he'll give me the stare down. Like, what are you doing to these dogs? Why did you hurt them? You know, he wants to know. And we had, I call it the fur fight of the century pretty much. I mean, it was probably about a year ago. Molly and Athena, there's a little bit of tug of war going with them too, who has supremacy in the house, who's top dog. It's not real bad, but every now and then, you know, Athena has some food guarding issues. And because where she lived before we got her, Athena was another rescue. Where she lived before, she was living around a full blown pit bull. This was not a mean dog. It wasn't like a bad dog, but they had to like the dogs would eat more than her, and she couldn't eat and stuff like that. So you know there would be an issue there. But anyways, the point is, Molly was taking a drink out of the water bowl, and Athena wanted to get some water or something, and Molly kind of growled at Athena. Molly was the one that started it, and Athena in my opinion, I think Athena just had enough of it. So Athena just kind of lunged towards Molly, and they both kind of got into it a little bit. And Mabel, like those two, the husky and the Malamute, those two clash on occasion, and Mabel's always the one that breaks it up. Like Pooh Bear will come in and find out what's going on and try to break it up, but Mabel just will get into the fray and just break them up, and not hurt either one of them. She just wants them separated. She doesn't want to hurt anybody. It's like I think it must be the Aussie in her, the herd mentality. She just wants to get them separated so they aren't hurting each other. So she jumped into the fray. To kind of like break them apart. She jumped onto Athena and tried to grab, I mean, she didn't grab hold of her neck to sink in, but she grabbed a hold of it so she could pull her away from Molly. And it wasn't in a mean way. And Pooh Bear, Sheriff Pooh Bear, walks in, sees all three dogs in a tussle, trying to whatever. Meanwhile, I'm trying to separate them, and I'm just afraid I'm going to get my hand bit or something. I didn't know what was going on. Well, Pooh Bear jumps into that too. And Pooh Bear's hissing and he's going in all out to really hurt. And he's hissing and he's scratching and he's whatever, and he's getting stepped on because there's three big dogs and this little cat. And lo and behold, Rue, his brother, who never gets into any of this stuff, he stays totally off on. He's like the chill Zen stoner dude that, you know, is oblivious to everything and he doesn't really care. He got involved, which shocked me. And I think what it is because he saw his brother getting stepped on by these three dogs. So he jumped in. So at this point, we have all four animals. You know, Mabel's just trying to pull everybody apart. She's not trying to hurt anybody. She's just trying to get everybody apart. Pooh Bear's thinking everybody's attacking everybody, and he's just going to put an end to it. And Rue's like, I'm going to protect my brother. So here I got a bucket of water, and I was throwing water on everybody, and there was water all over the kitchen. And so that sends the cats off. And then finally, Molly gets out of there. Molly's like, "Whoa, I'm done with the water," and so she takes off. Well, meanwhile, Mabel has still hold of Athena because she didn't want Athena to go after Mabel. And Mabel herds Athena into the corner. And that pit bull part of her, and it's not a mean streak because staffies are bred to be kind and gentle and to protect. They're actually called nanny dogs because they actually have been bred to protect children. And at least that's what they used to use them for a long time ago. And to have that type of temperament to protect. Well, she had a hold of Athena's ear still. And I was trying to get her, to let go. And I was like pulling, I grabbed a hold of Mabel and I was pulling on her, which I noticed was pulling on Athena's ears. And pits, their jaws lock. So I had a hard time getting her apart. I did finally get her apart. And Athena had a little bit of she needed a couple stitches. We had to drive like 3 hours to a vet out of our state to get her sewn up. But she needed like 3 stitches. We got her some antibiotics and some pain medicine and stuff, but she was fine. The other 2 dogs got a little bit of nips here and there. It wasn't bad. And I make it sound like it's horrible all the time. It's not like this all the time. This was like Mabel or Athena and Molly will like grumble at each other. They won't get in a whole lot of fights. They'll just sit there and like, I'll growl at you, or I'm growling back. Pretty much that's it. If they're in a bad mood with each other. Sometimes they play together, sometimes. And I think it's just like with humans, you get sick and tired of being with the same people all the time. You're going to snap. And they don't like snap at people or whatever either. It's just, I think it's just a hierarchy. They're just trying to figure out where they need to be. But yeah, that was a very interesting day in our our life. And it always happens every time we have money saved up and we had enough to pay this vet bill after they gave us a huge discount. But the time before that, we let them out, and none of us saw that there was a porcupine around. No, it was a porcupine. Sorry, it was a raccoon. Porcupine was another day. They didn't get into that guy, but there was a raccoon. None of us saw it, and we came back in for a second, went back out, and they had gotten hold of a raccoon. Well, no. I came back in. My son was outside, and he's seen Molly head for the raccoon, and he was sorry about that. He was trying to stop Molly, and he couldn't stop Molly, and Molly grabbed a hold of the raccoon. Athena grabbed hold of the raccoon, and Mabel grabbed hold of the raccoon. Each of them had a leg. I kid you not. Each of them had a leg. And they were playing tug of war with the poor thing. Mm-hmm. Raccoon didn't survive that. But they don't... Man, I'm making it sound like my dogs are vicious. They're not. They just... if there's a wild animal in the yard, they won't allow it to stay in the yard. Like Missy, she was a half lab, half beagle. And we lived in a tiny town, but we did have bears that roamed our town. And she had the body of a lab, except she had shorter legs like a beagle, and she had a beagle bark. But yet, if she saw a bear come into our yard, she would go after the bear. Like, I'm protecting my yard. No one's getting in my yard after mom and dad, or whatever. And she would, and she, it's just really weird. She was a really good dog, but yeah, no, my dogs are not mean and nasty. I have people that, like I said, are afraid of Mabel, but she's not. She is protective, and she will protect if there's a clear danger. She will protect, but she's a very sweet and gentle, loving dog, actually. Like she plays with Rue, and I'm going a little bit overboard my time, but I just want to give you an example. She plays with Rue. Like I said, Rue is like the stoner dog, the stoner cat that doesn't really care about anything. Rue will lay on the ground, and Mabel, this doesn't sound gentle, but it is gentle. She'll take Rue's head in her mouth and kind of slowly drag him across the floor. That's their version of play. The cat doesn't care. He just lays there like he's a rag doll and just lets the dog do it. And they play together. They also play together in other ways, but they play together. And he never bites into him, or she never bites into him. She never like shakes him with his head in his mouth, her mouth. She never does anything to hurt him. It's just she knows he likes to be dragged across the floor. And it won't be very far, like a few inches, And it's just how they are. And I find all the pets very comforting. The cats for their purring and their little soft fur, and the dogs for their nice, warm, snuggly bodies that come and sleep with us at night. Like, yeah, all three sleep on our bed. We have a king size bed, and we need that room because they're always on the bed with us. And it's comforting to have their presence there. Also, I guess for like an autism sensory sort of thing too, because there's that weighted sensory, like having that weight across your legs is actually very helpful sometimes. So what do you guys think? How do your dogs help you? And what kind of fun stories do you have about your animals, and any unusual quirks or anything unusual? Drop me a line in my comment section and let me know. But yeah, I think I'm going to cut this off right now. And again, like I said, these recordings have been very raw, unedited, because I don't have a good editing program. So I'm asking again, if anyone knows a good editing program that's free, easy to use, or very minimal cost and easy to use, let me know. And I will give it a try, because I would so love, like that 55-minute one I recorded, if I could edit out a bunch of that and just put the really good stuff up, that'd be really great. And I always feel bad that I lose so much really cool content because I can't edit out the bad stuff. And no, I'm not just going to put up a 55-minute one just because I don't have the thing to edit it, and just so people could see how badly I rant. I'm not going to do that. But thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. It's just a little me just wanting to talk. And thank you for listening. And I hope you all have a very blessed day, and I hope everything is going well with you. And if it's not, just remember that you matter, and you are loved. Thank you again. More later.